purchasing. Department. 6. Purchasing. Jackie. Is that any purchasing or procurement department in college all over the world?
Yes.
Really? Where? Which country? Which university?
It's a company that they offer
Yes. But name one college that there are supply department. Anyone? No. No. According to the textbook, there is no department emphasize the supply or procurement. Okay? But why is purchasing and the supply management important to the company? Why? Why? Do you think purchasing or supply is important to the company?
Yes.
Why? But the evolution of the supply function means that until late in 19th century, there is a public transportation and handling of railway supply. Does anyone know railway supply? What does the company do? Oh.
I don't know, maybe the steel that is used to make railways,
Yeah?
buying those for the company that is responsible for making the
Can
railway.
you speak? There are 25 students in my class. As I recall that last year there are only 8 students in the same class. But now there are 25. Why, Tom?
because of you.
You are Hannah, Ella? How? Why you are here?
Because last semester I already told your class, so right now I'm here.
I don't remember. I'm 43 years old. Why you are here? No, no microphone. Wait. Hope, help me. Hope. You.
Daniel, come, let's help each other here.
Hey, today no Chinese at all. Okay. Hey, it's okay.
Hey,
Help me.
so much.
Why? Please speak Chinese. Why? Students think about what railway supplies do. What railway? What is railway?
Train.
Train. What does train supplies do? This is the first time that the function of supply is noticed. And what is train supplies do? Supply what? Supply what?
The metals for making the railroads.
Yes, they're making a railroad by what? Rock.
Rock.
Right? Rock. And steel. And wood, special wood. So this is the first time that the function of supply, the importance of functions, supply of function has been noticed. Okay? And the next stage is, according to the textbook, World War I and World War II. Which year is World War I? World War I.
1914 to 1918.
Really?
Yes.
World War II. It's World War II.
14.
World War I. World War I.
World War I.
1914.
19.
14.
14.
To
1918.
World War I
Yes.
and World War II.
1930.
1914.
Google. I think it's 1940.
39 to 45.
30 to 40. Wow. What happened during these two wars? What is the relationship between these two wars and the supply?
Because where there's a lot of logistics.
They needed arms for fighting.
Yeah.
The weapons.
No. According to the book says that the success of a firm was not depend on what it could sell, because a firm can sell anything during the wars. But the problem is, how can the firm get its raw material and the supplies? Because demand is unlimited. Okay? So the function of supply is noticed. Okay? So before World War I and before World War II, the supply is only it's only operational. And during 1950s and 1960s, the supply become more central, and the company keep evaluating the position of supply as chef.
Chief.
Before 1950, it's only clerk. After 1960s, it's chef purchasing. There is a department. And entitled the purchaser or buyer as president. And director of material. Okay? How is the salary of a president? Tom, guess.
50,000.
Fif- uh,
50,000.
per year, per month
per month.
in New Taiwan dollars?
Yeah,
I think it's very low.
20.
I think it's over 90,000 profit. Okay, the third stage is 1970. Tom, since our age is almost the same, does anyone know what happened in 1970s? What happened? Wei Jie is born. What happened in 1970s?
This one.
I'm not good in history, but I think all of you are good in history. Okay, what happened in 1970s?
There is a shortage.
Or 1970s? What happened in 1973? No? What happened? And what happened? You are trying to Google it. There is a Middle East oil
No crisis.
Okay. Oh, what is embargo?
You cannot sell the oil.
Maybe some kind of a crisis,
No.
or okay,
Or
maybe another word that we can use is like Middle East oil crisis.
no, what does the word embargo?
The Middle Eastern country cannot sell their oils to another.
Yes, louder,
The Middle Eastern country.
louder.
The Middle Eastern country cannot sell their oil to
Cannot
another.
export their oil to other country in 1973. Okay, what happened? Does the event to affect other company? The oil price is very important to every industry. So the event of Middle East oil embargo makes their raw material shortage. Okay, shortage, and the price of product increase. So the importance of supply is obvious. Okay? And finally, in 21st century, what happened? Now it's 21st century, what happened? There is a name, supply chain management. Okay, so it level up the importance of supply. It emphasized the supply chain integration and the lower transaction costs and the faster response time to the market. So the challenge of supply is sustainability, globalization, technological innovation, and risk management. The after chapter will explain the meaning of this challenge. Okay. So the supply chain terminology. Oh, what is terminology?
It's like the usage of words
Yes, the interchangeable of words. So the supply terminology is procurement. Handy, how to spell procurement?
Procurement.
You can see.
Oh, and purchase and buy, but the meaning is interchangeable. But students don't emphasize the importance of supply. Basically, the process of buying is learning the need, okay? Locating and selecting a supplier and negotiate pricing and so on. But supply is nothing more than like this. It's more like this one. But almost everyone will confuse the buying and the supply. But the importance of supply is more. Supply is more important than buying. Okay? So the supply terminology means that purchasing, supply management, and procurement. Okay? So the supply is not limited to standard step in the procurement process. The question is, Bachelor Administration student, what is the procurement process?
Ordering.
I assume all of you will know procurement process. Procurement process. Imagine when you buying something, the process is
Call. Make a call.
make a call. Just make a call to whom?
To the stores and then
And
ask
buy and ask the price.
the price and then how many you want to buy.
That's simple. So you can be president of Think about it. What is the procurement process? First, you should recognize of need, okay? Recognize of need. If you have need, your intention to purchase. You have intention to purchase. And the second step is translation of that need into a commercial equivalent description. And search for potential suppliers, selection of a suitable source, agreement on order or contract deals, deliver of product and service, finally payment of supply. Take an example according to the process. An example? Louder. 2 points. If I'm hungry,
Okay. I will make sure what kind of food I want to eat.
no. I am hungry, so you are not hungry at all.
Okay. So what kind of food do you want? Do you like to have?
Louder.
Teacher, what kind of food do you want to?
No, I'm hungry. You are not hungry at all, so you can
Me too.
want to buy something to
Yeah,
eat.
yeah. So I want to make sure
You want to purchase a laptop computer, okay? Laptop computer.
But you're hungry, right?
You take your example, not mine.
Oh.
I already have lunch.
Okay. I want to buy a computer.
Uh-huh.
I want my computer to be right.
So no. You want to graduate sooner, okay? It's your need. not just buying a computer. You want to,
So what actually is my need
yes, playing games,
or graduate? Which one?
playing games, maybe. Okay, it's your need.
Yes.
So you want to translate the need into commercially equivalent description because you want to play games, so you have to own a computer so you can play games anytime
Yes.
at any class. Okay.
Yes. But not now.
Okay. Step 3.
Search for potential suppliers.
Potential suppliers like PC, home, or
Second-hand shops.
or
Uh,
and then the fourth process, selection of a suitable source. What is your criteria for suitable source? Criteria, factors, not just price, right? Right? What else?
Quality.
Quality. How can you judge the quality, bad or good? Quality is
Durability.
not qualification. It qualification. How can you judge the product is qualified? No. Hey, what is your criteria for a good computer source? Not just price
operation speed.
and
Operation system.
no delivery time
Maybe.
and the maintenance.
Yeah, maintenance.
Okay, so there are many criteria for purchasing. Okay. Then agreement on order or contract detail. Finally, payment of supply. So this is procurement process, but that just limit us operational. Okay. But the responsibility of supply function is not limited to the procurement process. It will include, listen, receiving, the responsibility of supply include receiving, inspection, warehousing, inventory control. Wow. Handling, package, and finally, disposal. Disposal is the responsibility of supply. Transportation. So next slide is about the contribution of supply can divide it into operational versus strategic. Does anyone want to answer that? What is the difference between operational and strategic? Handy.
I think strategic is more like we planning our
Good.
we planning our
Slowly, louder.
strategic is more we want to plan about how we want to do with our business, and the operational means like the action of what we have already planned.
Good. Very good. The strategic is involved in long-term planning, and the operational means day-to-day activities. Okay? So, the contribution of supply with respect to operational is that simple, no complaints. Just no complaints, no delay is the supply contribution. Simple, no complaint. So if the manufacturer factor says no complaint, then the supply achieved its good performance. No complaint, no delay, good. The strategic contribution of supply to a company lies in the competitive advantage. Competitive advantage, such as how can the supply contribute the company with respect to strategy? Relax, everyone, relax. Relax. I explain next chapter. Okay, good. You are good. And the next factor is direct versus indirect. The direct contribution of the supply lies in its profit, cost reduction. It's all about balance sheet. Okay? What is balance sheet? Pen. Balance sheet. Balance sheet. What course? What course teaches you? Accounting, yes, accounting. So the direct contribution of supply is the profit or reduction in cost or raise in profit. And the indirect contribution of supply is enhancing the performance of the department in the organization. Repeat. Enhancing the performance of department in the organization. It's funny that the book says that just in a sport, the team's objective is to win, right? Not who is the better. So whose score is less important than the total team performance. Okay? So the supply will enhance the performance of all organization viewed as a team. Okay? So do you think the direct contribution is important or indirect contribution is important?
Both is
Or direct or indirect? Which one is more important? X is your turn.
Direct.
Indirect or direct?
Direct.
Indirect. 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 Okay? Indirect contribution is more important for a company.
why?
Hmm?
Why?
Why? Oh, good. The textbook says it's difficult to explain. Yes! It's too difficult to measure.
I think
Since it involves many soft or intangible contribution. Okay, indirect contribution is hard to measure, hard to explain because it's intangible. Does anyone doesn't know intangible is? What is intangible?
Cannot be count.
Ownership cannot keeping.
Just feel.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So increase revenue, improve customer satisfaction, reduce total cost, reduce lead time. Okay, 10 minutes left for chapter 1 discussion. 2 questions. Supply is not profit making. Instead, it is profit taking since it spends organizational resource. Do you agree or not? Why? Discuss and raise your hand. Express your opinion. Supply is not profit making, right? Instead, it is profit taking since it can spend organization